Why are there so many messages in comics that feel wrong? Not like the characters, not like the story. Like they're just kind of inserted in there for no reason. Well, there is a reason. We'll talk about that. Hey there, this is Perch. I actually just recorded a video and I was about 90% of the way through it and just abandoned the video. It was rambling, it was completely rambling. It gives me a little preview as to what a live stream would look like. It would look like the biggest cluster. I would lose 100% of the people who followed me by the end of it because I don't agree with anyone fully. And I like to zero in on those differences because that's how I think, I learn and things grow is by you figure out what the differences are and you talk about those. But anyway, it was this long video. I got to get some good topics there. I mean, the reason I started the previous one was all around our comics naturally kind of left leaning based on the creators and what gets into that. It was an interesting topic, but it went all over the place. But as I was talking about, I hit upon this subject. So now I'm going to kind of veer right, no pun intended, or left, veer left, sure. Um, and just talk about this one topic, and that's kind of the hidden messages in comics that don't seem so hidden. And by this I mean, and this just pops up in stores, it pops up in real life. This isn't a social media only issue. In fact, it's popping up in stores more and more frequently, and it's where the character says something that seems off. It seems really like not the character, and in fact, it seems like, a politician or somebody in real life kind of talking through the character. And it's jarring. In nearly every case, it doesn't sound right. The character, it doesn't fit. It doesn't work. And I did it about 2, 3 weeks ago. I don't remember now. Several weeks ago, the Wonder Woman issue. Sorry, I got it wrong. The Aquaman issue, where Wonder Woman is deciding to kind of go on a pitch for, welcoming in refugees, and you shouldn't ask them questions. Kind of an open border speech, and how it seems so off for Wonder Woman. Well, off and on. So somebody pointed out, I think the guy had a really good point. Is like, this is why I love Wonder Woman. This sounds like Wonder Woman in the sense that she is there to help. She's not there to fight, and she's not, she will fight if she has to, but she's there to say, how can I help? And I like that. I like that take. I think that is actually true. That does sound like Wonder Woman. She does, she tries to find the right answer. The goofy part about it was the whole, back in my home, we never attacked any visitors. Like, okay, stop that. And weirder was 2 pages later, she's then saying, hey, I don't like these. What are these visitors doing here? So and that's the problem with inserting these messages into comics, is that they rarely are consistent because people are not taking time or the care to make sure that that same character follows through, especially if it's something that is, wrong for the character to say or seems odd. So how does this happen? And is this new? Well, neither. Well, I'll get to the new part first. No, it's not new. Actually, it actually has happened for a long time. And this is one of the myths that a lot of the people who commentate on comics on social media, they do forget, is like the 70s, the 80s. Those comics, they were filled with little oddball messages that go into the character's mouth. They absolutely were. To say they weren't is completely untrue. But there is a difference, and the difference is how do they get there? They get there because the creator is, sitting there writing a script or on a plane or whatever they happen to be doing, and the TV's on, the radio's on, and then somebody's on TV giving a speech, and the person, hears this soundbite. The creator hears this soundbite. It sounds good. Or kind of more frequently now, the creator's on social media and somebody posts a little Instagram picture with a little kind of, inspirational picture, and there's kind of a flowery sentence. It's like, the best of us is not the best of us if we must step on the worst of us. Or some kind of, hollow, I mean, sure. But, kind of this, I call them popcorn quotes. Just, okay. I'm not sure, truthful statement, I guess, but what did you really accomplish by saying that? Anyway, So these things float across creators' desks. Creators are like, oh, that's a good line. I'm writing a story about heroes. Ergo, A plus B equals C. Alphabet letters don't actually add, but that's how it happens. It's like I need to fill this comic with dialogue. I need to have inspirational dialogue. I just finished going to get a coffee, and then went down the street and met up with a friend, and we looked at shoes, and then I went back to my apartment, kind of put off writing a comic script for a while, and then I watched some Netflix, and now it's time to write, you know, Aquaman. And what does Aquaman say? I mean, it's a fish king god. I don't know what he says here. Let's see what Bernie Sanders says. Let's see if we can put some of Bernie Sanders into Aquaman. And that's I laugh, but that is how it is. I mean, and if you go, there are creators, several of them I know, some that are praised by all the online people, who have on their Twitter feed, or their the people they follow on Instagram, kind of inspirational quotes, and they look for inspiration from these inspirational quotes, not to necessarily go about and do their things in their own life, but to put into the mouths of the heroes they write. And that's how it happens. And the reason why it seems a little more junky, or poorly executed today as opposed to the 70s, is that there's a lot of more content that needs to be filled, so people are writing a lot more. But mostly, it's that these quotes and these things are in your face a lot more. They're all over the place. And back in the 70s and 80s, you didn't have as much of that, or the stuff that was in your face was pure marketing. Like, you're not going to have your character say, hey, where's the beef? You're not going to, but they do. There certainly were comics that line popped up, but it's just there. And very famously, there's a lot of Captain America issues where his speeches or his quotes are lifted from kind of inspirational politicians, and usually the ones that are more, I would say, left leaning, in the sense that there's kind of more aspirational, we should do better for the betterment of mankind kind of commentary. But that's how it happens. That's how these quotes and these things get into the comics. It gets into the comics because people need content, and they go looking for it. And today there's more content than ever, because there's a bunch of people who made their businesses on social media, and news is, for all intents and purposes, just fluff trash these days, where it's all sound bites. And we also live in a time where it's the perpetual forever election. So candidates are out there saying these things every day, always. They don't take breaks. It feels like Elizabeth Warren, for example, has been campaigning to be something for like 8 years. I know that's not the case, but it's been there forever. I mean, I think this is one of the reasons, by the way, that Trump won, is because he was relatively a new face, and a lot of these other guys, it felt like, I've been seeing you for years. You're not president yet. Well, maybe you shouldn't be. Okay, here, let's give this new guy. Here's just whatever. He sounds crazy, but he's new, so go for it. I think that happens. I think you see that in the Democrat field, where you get Beto. It's like, oh my God, this Beto could run the country. He's amazing. Where'd this guy come from? And then now it's like 2 years later. It's like, all right, well, we've seen enough of that. Let's versus, who's this Paul Buttigieg guy? Who's this Yang guy? He's new. Let's try him. I sometimes think the thing that would help some of these candidates the most in the primary is just disappear for 2 months. Be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do what Superman did. I'm gonna walk the country. I'm gonna get my little bike, because don't want to be emission free, and I'm gonna bike across America, and I don't want cameras following me. I'm just gonna go silently, and then come back, and then do fresh and renewed. I don't know. Maybe I'm I'm calling for a reboot in politics. It just dawned on me. I want all the politicians to reboot, launch again with brand new number one issues, preferably polybagged, maybe polybagged with no oxygen inside. No, that's too far. Too far. I don't know. This has been a mess of a morning, everybody. I hope that you got something out of this. I have some good topics, but I'm just not focused today. It's a rambly kind of day. But I won't delete this video. We'll put it up. You're listening to it right now. There you go. Thank you. Like, subscribe, notify. Although I don't know why you would after that. And thanks for listening.